Well, greetings, yeehaw, and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio by our technical producer, Jonathan Voico. Writer, director, producer, lifelong cowboy, Robert Meyer Burnett.
Rollin', rawhide.
Most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, well, that's when we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, question, observation you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And here's the good news about this tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're listening to our show a little bit later in the day on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app of choice, and by the way, guys, even if you don't normally listen to the show in the audio feed, go and subscribe to the show so that it will be there if you're driving, commuting, whatever, and you need an audio-only version. Make sure you go and subscribe to the show. Or if you're watching the show a little bit later in the day when we're not live, you can still send in a tip question anytime you want. And if you send one in when we're not live, well, we'll just get around to answering it on our next episode. All right, guys, listen. Before we get rolling here on the topics, a little bit of house cleaning. The movie meetup tour, I guess you can call it, continues. We've got the next 4 dates here for you guys. We're going to bring it up here. We're going to start things off in Kansas City or right by Kansas City in the Kansas City area. We're going to be at the AMC Town Center 20 in Leawood, which happens to be right beside the AMC Theater's head corporate offices.
Nothing nefarious shall take place.
Nothing at all. I wonder if Adam Aaron may show up and throw down.
Why don't you see if you can get an interview with him for the show?
I don't think that's going to happen. Number one, I don't want to interview him. Number two, I don't think he even knows who I am. So
well, that's probably for the best. That's why you can get that interview.
Yeah, that's right. Who am I? Nobody. Don't worry about it. Let's just talk. But that's going to be on Thursday, October the 9th. And the movie we're going to go see is Tron Ares. That's the big movie that's opening that weekend at the 7:30 p.m. show. Again, the way these movie meetups work is I just buy a ticket to go see this movie. And if you guys want to buy tickets to go see the movie too, we can all watch it together. And then after the movie's done, I hang out in front of the movie theater for an hour or two and we just talk and meet people and take pictures and whatever. So hopefully you'll come. So again, that's next Thursday, October the 9th at the AMC Town Center in Leawood in Kansas. All right. Then I'm going home. Going home to Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I'm going to be up there visiting my family. So why not do a movie meet up there? We're going to be at the movie theater I spent more time in than any other theater
I was going to ask
in the world. I'm going to be at the Ancaster Silver City on Tuesday, October the 14th. Again, that's going to be for Tron Ares at 7 p.m. I've had a few people writing in. Oh man, I wanted to go to one. Why aren't you coming to Toronto? Like, guys, I'm driving 37 hours to get there. You can drive the 52 minutes it's going to take to drive from Toronto to Hamilton. You can do it. Anyway, so we're going to be at the Hamilton Ancaster Silver City for the Tron Ares on October 14th at 7 p.m. Then we're going to be in the Chicago area. And I asked online, hey, people in the Chicago area, what movie theater should we do? And overwhelmingly, you guys said the AMC South Barrington. So we're going to be at the AMC South Barrington the next night on Wednesday, October the 15th for a 6:30 p.m. screening of Tron Ares. And then the next night, we're going to be in Indianapolis at the AMC Indianapolis 17. And on that night, the new Aziz Ansari movie with Seth Rogen.
And Keanu Reeves.
And Keanu Reeves, Good Fortune, a movie I've been looking forward to see for a long time, opens up. We're going to go see that again at the AMC Indianapolis 17 at 7:10 p.m. Oh, and by the way, for those of you guys who are out in the Indianapolis area, Olympic gold medalist and undefeated movie trivia champion, Cody Miller, is going to be joining us at that movie meetup in Indianapolis. So if you guys can come on out and meet us there for that, that will be a good time.
I really hope you like Tron.
Me too, man. But it's the movie that opens that week. So that's why I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the movie our viewers are going to want to watch. So, but yeah, if it sucks, Ann already told me, if the movie sucks, then on the subsequent screenings, I'm going to be waiting in the van during the movie. And then I'll come out and meet everybody after the movie. I'm like, fair enough, baby. Fair enough.
The soundtrack, though, you could just
It's
sit.
going to be killer.
The soundtrack is so good. You can just sit in the theater and close your eyes.
It's going to be awesome. The soundtrack is going to be insane.
It is insane. I've been
it's
listening
probably
to it
going
on
to be worth
Spotify.
it.
Oh, the full
Did they
soundtrack's
already
out?
release
Yeah.
it?
Nice.
And it's good?
Oh, dude, it's dope.
It's seriously going to make the movie we're seeing all by itself.
I'm listening to it on my drive home.
I'm excited about that. So, yeah, guys, we'll keep announcing that, but we hope to see you at one of those movie meetups saying, yes, 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 yes. John, when are you coming to New York? John, when are you coming to Ohio? John, when are you coming to... We are going to do... Listen, man, we're going to do the whole country.
Nobody asks me if I'm coming.
No one has yet asked me.
We are going... if I
Nobody
can talk them into
cares.
going, we're going to do almost the whole country. It's just going to take us some time, you know. So we'll go out to New York, and we're going to be in Texas, and we're going to be in Florida, and we're going to be in the Carolinas. We're going to do all that.
Can we go to Maine? I've always wanted to go to Bangor, meet Stephen King.
I would love to go to Maine, actually. That would be fun. All right. With that down, guys,
Or Derry.
let's get things started off here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Academy Award winner, Emmy Award winner, Tony Award winner, Jeremy Irons, according to the Hollywood Reporter here, has been added to the cast of the upcoming Henry Cavill Highlander remake. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say, I think this is my most highly anticipated remake of all time. I don't think I've ever been as excited for a remake as I am about this, because I think it's the first time that a film that's literally in my top 10 all-time favorite movies is getting a remake done, and it's with my boy Henry. Henry Cavill's going to be in it. Anyway, the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter say the following. They say, Jeremy Irons, a triple crown of acting achiever, thanks to Oscar, Emmy, and Tony Award wins, is the latest bold-faced name to join the cast of Highlander, Amazon MGM's remake of the 1980s cult classic. The luminous call has Henry Cavill leading the cast that already includes one of my other favorite actors in the world, Russell Crowe as Ramirez, Mauricio Bella, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, and one of my favorite, most underrated actors in the world, Jaimin Hansu. The action fantasy, which hails from Amazon MGM's United Artists banner, is being directed by Chad Stahelski and is slated for theatrical release. Production was to have started already in September and early October, but was pushed back after Henry Cavill got a boo-boo and got injured in pre-production. Production will now begin in early 2026. All right. Listen. Who wants to live forever? I can't believe it's finally happening. I simply can't believe it's finally happening. For years and years, I have been waiting for somebody to come along and redo Highlander. The only other movie, Rob, there are two movies that I think are absolutely ripe for remakes, in the sense that a lot of today's audience hadn't seen it. The story is fantastic, and it is a movie that would very much benefit from modern visual effects. Those two movies are, obviously, The Highlander, and I bet you can guess what my second movie is going to be. As soon as I say it, you'll know. As soon as you'll,
I don't. There's so many
know.
The
things.
Last Starfighter.
Yeah, Last
Oh,
Starfighter.
yeah. Oh, right. Of course.
Clearly, The Last Starfighter.
course.
That movie would be more relevant today than it was when it came out.
I agree.
That's a side note, anyway. And, you know, for a long time, we all thought Ryan
Sir and the
Reynolds...
Kodan Armada.
What do we do?
We die.
We die. You know, for the longest time, we thought Ryan Reynolds was going to be it. I recently found out that Ryan Reynolds was never attached to it, even though everybody in the entertainment industry, including me for years, thought that Ryan Reynolds was attached to do a Highlander remake for many years. But anyway, so we were waiting for that. And then there were, I mean, when did they first announce Henry Cavill doing Highlander? This has to be
Years
it's got to
ago.
be on 3 years now.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years since they originally announced it. But here it is. Then they added, again, one of my favorite actors, Russell Crowe. And then Dave Bautista joined, who was a inspired choice to play Kurgan. Inspired choice to play Kurgan. And now we got Jeremy Irons, who's coming in, who apparently is going to be playing one of the Watchers. Where is it? Yeah,
Now,
here
that's
it
a
is.
TV series thing, isn't it?
It, for the most part, listen, says in the Hollywood Reporter, in a part that could be juicy, Irons will play the movie's other antagonist, because of course the Kurgan's the main villain, the leader of a secret order called the Watchers, who are keeping an eye on the immortals and see them as a threat to humanity. It's a common trope that every time there's something like this, there's a secret human organization that watches them. Buffy the Vampire Slayer had that. Even my movie that Hayden Christensen co-starred in, Jumper, they had that too. It seems like all these movies have to have the secret human organization, but you're right, that was part of the television.
But I like that.
Well.
I mean, I think that they're expanding. You know, they have to make the movie. The first Highlander is a lot of fun, but it's sort of, it doesn't have a whole lot of plot. So if you go back and you watch it, it's really interesting going back between the time periods. But I think they're going to have
it's all mythology, man.
Yeah,
that
they're going to expand
all mythology, which is part of the reason why I loved it so much and why
the transitions.
Oh,
Russell Mulcahy, man, director of Duran Duran videos, going on to make movies. He made Razorback. He made Highlander.
So adding Jeremy Irons to this, now look, take the Highlander out of it. If you just came to me today, say, John, they just announced a movie with Henry Cavill, Jeremy Irons, Jaimon Hansu, Dave Bautista, and Russell Crowe. I'm like, you don't even have to tell me what the name of the movie is. I'm in. And Karen Gillan. I'm in. That's enough to know that it's a Highlander. Rob, I haven't felt this kind of excitement. It's been a while. I mean, when they announced, Superman, when they announced Deadpool and Wolverine, but it's not often that I feel this kind of excitement. Anyway, you hear Jeremy Irons is joining this movie. What do you think about it?
Dude, I can't tell you how much I love Jeremy Irons. Not only does he star in David Cronenberg's finest achievement, Dead Ringers, not only is he Simon Gruber in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Good Lord.
Not only does he star in one of the greatest scenes I've watched a million times in Margin Call, when he's the head of the company.
Explain it to me like I'm a child.
It's
so good in
that scene. First of all, to make a scene where people are sitting down at a table when there's no blocking really.
Yep.
To make a scene,
no music,
no dude,
sound effects, no Foley.
And Zachary Quinto's never been better. Everybody, I can't.
For those of you missing, we're talking about a movie called Margin Call, which Paul Bettany, the guy who's the mentalist, whatever that actor's name was.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey's in it.
Demi Moore.
Stanley Tucci.
Oh, it's so good.
There he is. He's. I can't.
Because what's it called came out with Steve Carell.
Right. That's The Big Short.
The Big Short
came out after though.
Yeah, but
it drew
attention
back
went to
to
Big
it.
Short, and unfortunately, Margin Call got kind of passed.
It's my favorite double feature. Margin Call.
Don't forget about Scarman.
Well, no, but there's the one thing. No, I don't know if people know this movie, but there's a movie called Reversal of Fortune. That's about Klaus von Bülow, where he plays Klaus von Bülow, who was trying to, murder his wife. And there's a line of dialogue. It's one of my favorite lines of dialogue. It's not a non sequitur for people that don't know, but it's like it's Ron Silver. Is it Ron Silver? That's his lawyer who plays what's his face? But he says, "What do you get a woman that has everything?" That's what Jeremy Irons says. A bottle of insulin. Because that's what might have killed her. And I when stuff happens, whenever I'm going shopping at Christmas, what do I get? What do you get a woman that has everything? Every time I go gift shopping, I think, well, a bottle of insulin. Nobody would get it.
He was a great Alfred.
What's that?
He was a great Alfred.
Oh,
he was
awesome.
Alfred.
He's my favorite. I mean, I love Michael Gow. I love Gow in the Tim Burton movies, but he was a badass because he was like a commando or something, and he's like Tony Stark, that's too old to be Iron Man, and now he works for Bruce Wayne because he can build everything. He's great. He was great. It's great. I love Jeremy Irons.
Oh, and how good is somebody in the live chat just brought out Raymond Verrata, Ozymandias. He was the new Ozymandias.
Yeah, and Watchmen, and wasn't he in French Lieutenant's Woman too?
Oh, anyway.
He's the best.
So what do you think about him joining Highlander?
Yeah, you like him?
Yeah, I do like him. I first of all, he's going to class up the joint, joint that's already classed up. Glow up.
There you go.
He's glowed up the class like it could never be glowed up before.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The great Jeremy Irons has joined an already really impressive cast, but this Highlander cast, man, Henry Cavill, Jaimon Hansu, Russell Crowe. You've got like almost everybody in this thing has had Academy Award nominations, several wins.
You've got the Gladiators teaming back up.
Yeah. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah, man.
But
not today.
Yeah, not today. And my wife, that is none of your business.
Yeah.
Listen, I can't be more excited for this movie. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Peacemaker, of course, is out, and we heard a while ago, James Gunn said that the finale is going to have a, quote, really, really, really big cameo. And ever since he said that, a lot of people have been speculating about who it could be. A lot of people thought Superman, and I thought Superman won't classify as really, really, really big. He's already in the universe. We already saw Peacemaker in his movie. He could cameo, but I don't think that's the really, really big cameo. Well, James Gunn just recently set the record straight. David Cornsweat's Superman is not going to cameo in this thing. As you can see in this headline in Variety, said David Cornsweat was really upset that Superman won't be in Peacemaker. So now, unless that's a big misdirect, which I don't think it is.
That's pretty on the nose for a misdirect.
Yeah.
It's like, he won't be in it. We're reporting it. And then he is. Like, okay.
Is that we know that the big cameo isn't going to be Superman. Now, a lot of people thought, oh my gosh, Lex Luthor was it? No. James Gunn said the finale has the really, really, really big cameo. So with Superman off the table now, we've discussed before, Rob, about like, who do we think could maybe be this really, really big cameo? But we've had two major developments since we talked about that last. Major development number one is that we now know that it's not Superman. Like that James Gunn has kind of made that clear that it's not Superman now. You can probably take that screen down. The second major development has been, as of the last episode, we now know Peacemaker is in Earth X. And I think that reality and that confirmation, I think gives us a little bit more context as to who this really, really, really big cameo could be. Now, listen, let me throw out there. I'm going to throw out 5 names or groups that I think could be the really, really big cameo. But let me give you a couple things about what's not going to be. Like some people think it's going to be Blue Beetle. Coming off of Peacemaker season 1, where he literally had Superman, Wonder, at least the silhouette, but you literally had Flash and Aquaman and the silhouettes of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. You think Blue Beetle showing up in the finale of Peacemaker 2 would have James Gunn going really, really, really big? It ain't Blue Beetle. It ain't going to be, I'm not saying Blue Beetle couldn't make an appearance, but he's not the really, really, really big. I don't think it's some small, obscure character that nobody knows. If James Gunn says it's going to be really, really big, I think it's going to be really, really, really big. So here are the 5 contenders, I think. Now that we know it's in Earth X, now that we know it's not going to be Superman, here are my 5 main contenders in no particular order. All right? First one I'm going to mention is one a lot of other people are going to think too. Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn. Now remember, in a recent interview, somebody directly asked James Gunn, could Margot Robbie return as Harley Quinn? To which James Gunn's answer was, that will be revealed later. He didn't say yes. He didn't say no. He just said that'll be revealed later. I think Margot Robbie appearing as Harley Quinn absolutely would fall under the category of really, really, really big cameo. She has worked with him in his Suicide Squad film. They absolutely adore each other. I could totally see that happening. So again, I think one of the 5 names that we really got to give a lot of weight to is Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. All right. Number 2. Again, these are in no particular order. Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
J Momo.
Remember, now that Earth X is in play, because, James Gunn's DCU is different from the DCEU. But now that James Gunn's Earth X is in play, he could be the king of the oceans in that universe. And remember, he appeared as Aquaman in the best line of the season. Fuck you, Barry. This is like one of the best lines ever in season 1. Him returning as Aquaman again in that universe, I think it's totally feasible and absolutely would qualify as a really, really, really big cameo. So my number 1, again, in no particular order, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Secondly, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I'm going to throw this one out here too. Maybe this one is wishful thinking. Maybe it is. But damn it, give it to me. Henry Cavill's Superman.
100%.
Henry Cavill's Superman.
That's the cameo, and he's playing Ubermensch.
There's been a lot of people that thought that. Now, somebody said that he made a comment that it wasn't going to be that character, but James Gunn and Henry Cavill have a lot of respect for each other. James Gunn was just recently talking about Henry Cavill recently. Henry Cavill never actually got his cameo in Peacemaker season 1. We only got the silhouette. He never got his cameo in Shazam either. We only got a shot of the chest. If you want to talk about something that is going to make a massive splash that would fall under the category of really, really, really big cameo, whether it's as Superman or as Overman or as whatever, Henry Cavill popping up in there would absolutely be seismic.
As Nazi Führer, leader of the world. I mean,
yep. It would absolutely
that's
be
my guess.
seismic. That would be
going with that.
seismic.
Yeah.
So I think that would qualify. So again, we got the Harley Quinn, we got Aquaman, we got Henry Cavill's Superman. All right. I'm going to throw out not one name here, but two. Tandem. This is on the lighter side of categorized it as really, really, really big cameo. I can say Hal Jordan and John Stewart, Green Lanterns. Number one, because it's Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
Yeah.
And they're Green Lanterns.
And they got to be walking somewhere.
And they got to be out there somewhere because we're about to get a lantern show. Right? Now, again, I admit, I concede that these two would be a significant cameo. Maybe not a really, really, really big cameo, but it might be. It would make sense. It would help them promote the upcoming show.
Yeah, exactly.
They've already been on set shooting, so all they would need to do is run out there and shoot a quick little thing while they're already in their getups and included in the show as a cameo. So that could be it as well. I think that makes total sense. That's 4. The 5th one I'm going to throw out is one I've thrown out before, but I'm sticking with it. Jason Momoa on the list for the second time, but this time is Lobo. Again, we've got Lobo coming in to the DCU here shortly. He's going to be in the Supergirl film. And Jason Momoa has already appeared in Peacemaker. Why not come back again, this time as a different character? Could be an Earth X version of him. Could be the proper DCU version of him. Whatever. So I'm going to say right now, Rob, that I think the 5... I see somebody in the live chat saying, but what Enchantress? Enchantress as the really, really, really big cameo when 90% of the audience wouldn't even know who she is? That wouldn't count. I mean, Enchantress could cameo, but she's not the cameo. So again, I think the 5 most likely are Harley Quinn, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Henry Cavill's Superman or Overman, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and Lobo. But I'm going to throw out one wild card. One wild card. Who in the last 12 years has been one of James Gunn's besties on when it comes to being on camera?
Michael Rooker.
Well, that's lifelong.
He's already in, though.
That's lifelong. And he's already. Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. Remember, those photos got out of Chris Pratt visiting sets. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily means anything, but I remember once Tom Ellis, who played Lucifer in one of my all-time, one of my favorite shows, Lucifer. He was shot on set of CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths. And everybody's like, oh my God, they're going to cross over Lucifer. And I said, no, he's probably just visiting somebody. It doesn't mean anything. Guess what? He was in Crisis on Earth X or a Crisis on Infinite Earths.
But who would Chris Pratt be playing?
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know. But he could just be the actor cameo and not the character cameo. Again,
he could be Ubermensch too.
That one's a wild card. So I'm going to throw that out there. Anyway, Rob, what do you think about the 5 I've got? And who would you say are our likely names? That now that we know it's not going to be David Cornsweet, and we know that Earth X is a possibility of being the background of the cameo, who do you see being in there?
I think all of your choices are compelling. But I have a different one.
Oh, ooh, okay.
knowing James Gunn and knowing like there's no plans for Peacemaker season 3 yet.
So he says.
So he says. And to sort of mirror what James Gunn has already done, especially at the end of Peacemaker season 2 and at the beginning, end of Peacemaker season 1, the beginning of Peacemaker season 2, I think the cameo is the entirety of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh,
all of them.
Gal.
All of them.
Ezra.
All of them.
Oh, okay.
They all show up as the Nazi Justice League.
Can I just
Earth
say,
X.
if they did that, I would lose my mind.
That's my goal. That's my dream, Ray Kinsella. That's my dream. Because you could bring in all these other characters, would be fun. But remember, at the beginning of at the end of, all I had to do is it's something that's been there. It was at the end of, so now instead of silhouette, they show them. They all show up in their Nazi Ubermensch Justice League Earth X, and it could be the same shot, but you get to see them all. I mean,
okay,
Cyborg would be able to be there.
That would qualify as first of all, that would be artistically appropriate because it would mimic the ending of Peacemaker season 1. In a second thing, but dude, your theory, which I love, your theory has just given me another theory that has me rock hard right now.
Too much information.
What? Okay. So I know, let me admit, I'm probably going way out of bounds, but my excitement level right now almost can't be contained. Okay. Follow me here. There have been some suggestions that what's going to be happening in Peacemaker is kind of going to be opening up for the direction the DCU's going and all that kind of stuff, which seems like a lot to put on a TV show. What if, and again, this is just me in my ultimate fangasm wet dream. What if Earth X serves as the backdrop of a version of Gods Among Us?
The Injustice.
Injustice Gods Among Us. What if, which I think is one of my favorite comic stories that I've read in years.
Well, this phase is called Gods and Monsters.
So what if the Injustice Gods Among Us is kind of merged in with Earth X, and like the Batman in that universe is fighting against the rest of the Justice League with his, and that sets up like an Injustice Gods Among Us DCU. Okay, listen, that's way out there. I acknowledge it as a far reach stretch, but I'm stiff right now thinking about it. I can't, man, that would be so great. I don't think it's what they're doing, but it would be awesome.
It would be so cheeky because obviously James Gunn is online. He is not unaware of the reaction between the Snyder Bros, and it would be so. To me, it would be the most hilarious thing in the world if you brought back all of his, including Ezra Miller.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
And at the end, and made them the Nazi. I mean, it would be, and I think all of those actors would go for it. I think they'd all, because James Gunn's the kind of, if you're doing cameos, you call up, "Hey, can you come and do a day on set?" I mean, they have the costumes.
I think they do it now. If you could make it fit, why not? But a lot of big excitement.
I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case, but
no, I don't either. I don't think either of ours is actually going to be what they actually do. Yeah. But the concept of it is pretty exciting for both of them.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I'm looking in the live chat right now. Do you guys have some, if you guys got some theories about who maybe, now that we know it's not Superman, who maybe this big cameo could be, go ahead. Some people, you know what? Somebody just said Black Adam, which would be hilarious. But I mean, James Gunn and Dwayne Johnson have kind of taken veiled shots at each other.
Yeah.
James Gunn kind of making reference that it was Dwayne Johnson. At least he implied that it was Dwayne Johnson that was trying to sabotage everything. So I doubt that would happen. Plastic Man would be cool. Somebody's saying that. Oh, Thomas Bombadil. Zack Snyder himself. I love that idea.
That's fun.
My God. Because remember, James Gunn and Zack Snyder just recently put out that picture of the two of them hanging out together.
Yeah.
On the Warner Brothers lot. What if Zack Snyder himself cameoed in Peacemaker? Oh my God. That would be so good. You know what that would be like? That would be like the Montagues and the Capulets, like marrying their children together to try to rift a bond or try to heal a bond. That could be a very healing thing if Zack Snyder himself, but then the Snyder Bros would turn on Zack Snyder probably. But I mean, it would be, I love that idea. You know what? Unlike our ideas, I think that one that somebody, I think there's actually a chance that could be it.
I also want to throw out one last idea.
Snyder Bros everywhere.
that we're thinking they're superhero cameos or they're actors we've already seen. I think it could be a big actor playing a part that's not necessarily superheroic.
Yeah.
That has something to do with Earth X. Like, who's the president? Maybe it's somebody playing a 95-year-old Hitler. Or somebody, you know, some ancient, like something totally outrageous. Because I would imagine they're going to be closing the door on Earth X for good. Because they don't.
Yeah, I think so.
So whatever it is, they could do something pretty outlandish, pretty out there.
Matt Damon will be the president.
Or something.
Ben Affleck is
George
Batman.
Clooney did the little pop-up at the end of Flash. Maybe George
Right.
Clooney makes an appearance.
Yeah,
or
I mean, something really out there that is. But again, I don't.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Now that we've had a few changes and the context is different now, do you got some new theories about who could be this really, really big cameo at the end of Peacemaker? I love a lot of things that I'm hearing. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. CJC in the live chat just said Ryan Reynolds is Green Lantern. That would make a splash.
That would be pretty good too.
That would make a splash
because you know it's also a lead into our lanterns.
Yeah, it could be that as well.
And he would do it.
Oh, he would totally.
He would totally do that.
Show up if it was just like show up for an hour and do something quick.
Especially if he was Nazi Green Lantern.
Oh my God, that'd be so fun.
Mirror Universe
right.
Green Lantern.
With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, every couple of days, I'll jump on our community tab or post tab on the YouTube channel, and I'll like when it's an hour or two before the show, I'll say, hey guys, like I'm just putting the last notes together. Do you guys have any topics we'd like to discuss? And one of our viewers wrote this in, and I thought it was a really interesting one because they asked, are we even going to get Fast X Part 2? Which I don't know why they're not just calling it Fast 11, because that's what it is. The Fast that comes after 10 is not 10 part 2, it's 11, but whatever. Add on to the stupidity that is surrounding this franchise at the moment.
And the ad line could be, this goes to 11.
But because it goes to 11.
It goes to 11.
Some people don't get that reference. Think about it. So what is going on with it? Is it even going to happen? Because a lot of stuff has been going on. All right. Like, for example, Vin Diesel announced recently that, oh yeah, I told Universal I'll only do it if we can get back to street racing and make it more grounded. In other words, and I'm a big everybody knows I love Vin Diesel, right? But what that really means is the studio told us we can only make this movie if we do it for a third of the budget. So Vin Diesel gets out and says, I told Universal we'd only do it if we could bring it back more grounded, make it about street racing and a heist. In other words, Universal told you your budget's going to be 1/3. Okay. Originally, this movie was supposed to come out, I think, April of this year. I think Fast X Part 2 was already supposed to be in theaters. It was already supposed to be out April this year. Now, Fast X made $700 million at the box office, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it's a significant dip from what it was. And some reports say that Fast X rivals maybe being the most expensive film like ever made. They're saying the production budget on that one ballooned up to like $340 million. And like, which if true, that's reckless. That's absolutely reckless and irresponsible. And then it made about $700 million. So obviously the studio's concerned about the people have been losing faith. And the reality is this too. The franchise has lost its way. Because I contend that Fast and Furious really found its true identity once The Rock showed up somewhere around Fast 4 and Fast 5. Like, that's when it really got its grounding. That's when it really found its identity, and it skirted that line between the grounded and the ridiculous, and it found that middle ground. And I'm not a big fan of Fast 1, 2, or 3, but I liked 4, and then I loved 5, and I loved 6, and I loved 7. Hell, I even liked 8. Didn't love 8, but I even liked 8. Then 9, I don't know what the hell kind of fever dream that was. That was just ridiculous. And then 10 was better than 9, but still not good. Kind of lost its way. And now you add on top of all that, this report that just came out like a day or two ago, Jason Momoa, he's still straight up saying, I have no idea what's going on with this movie. He's like, I don't even know for sure if I'm in it. And as of right now, I can tell you, there's no traction because I haven't even seen the script. I don't even know if a script exists. So normally when a movie is a little bit delayed from when people were expecting it and somebody asks, John, do you even think this movie's happening? I'm like, yes, it's happening. Rob, I'll be honest. I don't know for sure. Despite the fact of what they're all saying, I honestly don't know for sure if this movie's even going to happen. Because when you look at like the direction the box office is going, which is this, the direction is downward. When you look at the kind of money that Vin Diesel likes to have given to him to make these movies, and hell, listen, if I don't fault him for that, if the studio's willing to give me $300 million to do it, I'm going to take it and make my best movie possible. I just honestly don't know. Honestly, Rob, I would say at this point, I would take the under on 50%. I'm not going to come out and say, definitely, I don't think it's going to happen. But if I had to put $5 on it and you gave me the over under of 50%, I'm actually going to take slightly the under on it right now. Because I think the longer and more time that passes that nothing starts to come together, I think the longer and longer the chances get that we're even going to get it. So listen, we may very well still get it. We might get an announcement tomorrow. But it doesn't look good because what year did Fast X come out? Does anybody remember?
I'll look it up.
Was it 2023? 2022?
2023.
It was 23. So we're a couple of years on now. They don't even have a script. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Rob, you look at this whole scenario. How are you feeling about it? And do you think we're going to get this Fast X Part 2?
Well, I love this franchise.
Yeah.
And I love the drift. I think the drift is great. I love 4. 5 is, of course, the Citizen Kane of the franchise, right there in the middle.
By the way, I forgot to throw in this detail. I saw somebody else in the live chat mention it. I should have mentioned this. In theory, they're saying right now they're aiming for April of 2027 for a release date for it. But they've had release dates before, and they don't even have a script right now. And that's only a year and a half away. So I don't know. Anyway, please continue.
I think this franchise went off the rails beginning in 6 with the plane scene at the end with the endless runway that the plane was on. And that's when I knew the franchise had problems. James Wan came in.
How long is this runway?
I know. James Wan came in. Fast 7 was fine. It was a good send-off for Paul Walker. I mean, it was really tragic what happened to him. The jump between buildings, though, was the beginning of straining all credulity. 8, there's a lot of things in 8 I like, but when you have a torpedo across the ice at the end of the movie, I'm just like, even then I'm like, okay.
Man, you haven't even mentioned going to space yet.
Dude, you know what? You and I saw Fast 9 together, and I wanted to leave the theater. It was interminable. I hated everything about it. I hated the opening sequence when they're driving through the jungle and the bombs are going off, and then that's when they swing from the bridge.
Well, you know what it was? Because there was a speed factor there, too. Because remember, it's like, you got to drive at this speed, and we're watching this movie, and we're like, those cars are not going anywhere near the speed.
No, it's all credulity was out the window. And people look at me and go, wait, it took you to get to Fast 9, Rob, before you, what's with you and verisimilitude, huh? And I'm like, look, verisimilitude's relative depending on the universe. I'll write a whole physics paper about it. I swear to God. But that film I hated. And I hated it. I hated it so much I only saw it once. And then I saw Fast 10, and I would put them, Fast 10 was a little better, I guess, because it had Jason Momoa as a villain who was having fun. But that too, it was so off the rails. I mean, it was a franchise that I liked, then I loved, and then I liked it. The relationship started to be a little boring, and then I just hated the franchise. It took me through
I remember
it was like the 5 stages of grief, but I ended it with anger.
denial. I remember you and I, this is how much we liked Fast and Furious. You, me, Anne, and our friend Cliff. We were all so excited that we planned a whole day around, we got invited to an early screening.
Yeah.
And we planned this whole day. We went out to dinner first to celebrate. We're going to go see Fast 9. And we were so excited. And then we go into the theater. We were practically giddy. We couldn't wait for this movie to start. And I remember when that movie ended and like the three of us all looked at each other and Anne was just checked out at that point. But you, me, and Cliff are like, what the loving F was
First
that?
of
And I'm
all,
like, oh my God.
one of the greatest betrayals in audience history is what they did to Sun Kang's character. When you're talking
You're
about,
right. They should have left him dead.
well, or give him that return was, I mean, justice for Han. I was saying that even before anyone else was. I'll take full credit. Nobody will give it to me. But Jen Yamato, she was saying it. Everyone's like crediting her.
Yeah.
I was doing it first. And I love Jen Yamato. I always had a crush on her from afar. But geez, man, I was Mr. Right There, Justice for Han. And they ruined that. They ruined it. It was so bad. Not since and you know what? There's only one other thing that I was more disappointed by in all of cinema history. And that is, of course, The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But nobody, by that time, nobody cared.
Don't even get me going on The Rise of Skywalker. But let's get back to the question then at hand.
Do I think there's going to be another
this one? Because it's now been a couple of years. Jason Momoa is now saying, I don't know what's going on. I still haven't seen a script. More and more years have passed. Are we actually going to get this movie?
Okay, I would say that when you look at, and I don't know the economics on this, I want somebody to do an article on what is the value, what is the legacy value of a franchise and IP that has 10 movies in it? Like, so what is the budget? Like in terms of, you should never spend more money than you can get back at the box office. There's no reason. I think that, look, maybe the people making Avengers Endgame and Secret Wars would argue with me, but if you can't justify the cost of a film and think that you can get your money back in some way, shape, or form, you shouldn't make it. One of the friends of this channel who works at Paramount, who's in charge, I won't say who it is, but and I had a really interesting conversation with that person about the economics of filmmaking from the studio level. It was fascinating. I wish I could sit down with them again. It was fascinating to listen to. But at the end of the day, I don't think a studio should ever greenlight a movie at a certain budget level that they think they don't have a chance to make their money back. I think that's bad business. I think it's bad for everybody. Fast 9 they should never have greenlit it at that budget because everybody's taken their fees. It's become so expensive to make those movies because they have to pay all the actors to come back, which I totally understand. Fast 10, I don't know if I don't think. The question is, unless they cut the budget by 2/3 and strip it down and go back to the streets of LA, but even then they'd make it because of car crashes and all that would be expensive.
And you're gonna have to have people take pay cuts or and I know Vin Diesel won't
Profit
like this,
participation.
You're gonna have to leave people out. You're just gonna have to leave some people out of the movie.
I just think that you can't. So what is the value? Universal might say, okay, if we make this movie, that 11 films, the 11 films of the franchise have a legacy value that exceeds what we would lose making the movie theatrically, the 11th movie. I don't think that's true, but that's maybe what they're thinking. I don't know the answer. I don't know what the economics are to old franchises that have existed, but I would imagine that it will get made. I will. I do, because isn't he doing Furion right now with David Twohy?
Yeah, something.
I think that he's doing the new Last Riddick movie. And
which I have no interest in, to be honest with you.
See, I'm a big David Twohy fan, and I love the Chronicles of Riddick. I am a Chronicles of Riddick apologist.
Yeah,
I love the
I'm not a big
Necromongers.
fan of that
I love
one.
the director's cut with Judi Dench.
But I'll tell you what, listen, if they do make this movie, and I think that's a big if, but if they do get around to making it and they're doing it exactly the way you're describing, $100 million budget, make it about a heist with cars and race culture, and stuff like that and make it more simple, pare it down. I'll tell you what, despite the fact that I hated 9 and 10, I will be there with bells on.
Me too.
I will absolutely be there with bells on. And we'll see how it all goes. Guys, question is for you. What do you think? Do you think at this point we are finally, actually, maybe going to get this final Fast and the Furious movie, Final Fantasy Fast 11 1.5? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, I think it's safe to say, I have no hesitation saying this. I think for a multitude of reasons, when it comes to particular studios and whatever, the most important movie that's on its way to us, that's coming down the pipe, is Avengers Doomsday. It's an incredibly important film because it's the film that is really going to allow and give the potential for Marvel to truly get itself back on track. I mean, they gave us a great Thunderbolts movie. They gave us a very, very good Fantastic Four movie. I trust the new Spider-Man movie is going to be good. It's got a great director, all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be Doomsday, because if Doomsday face plants, I don't know that Marvel recovers from that. Not with the situation they're in right now. Not with the status they're in right now. So all eyes are on Doomsday. I have a lot of faith in the world in it. I believe they're going to be great because we've only had 4 times that the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige have worked together to make movies. And those 4 times ended up being Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, Avengers Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. And all 4 of those movies are in the discussions amongst cinephiles as the greatest comic book movies ever made.
$5 billion.
Yeah, that they have made collectively over the course of 4 films. More than 5. Right?
Which is what the
Getting
Gray
close
Man
to
and the
6.
Electric State cost. $5 billion.
Now, you guys might remember that prior to Endgame coming out, the Russo brothers put out this cryptic black and white photo of, I believe it was Joe Russo, sitting in a black and white set. This is it here. And they kind of gave a hint of what's going on. Now, a number of fans believe that the symmetry in the picture spelt out Endgame. And it turns out they were right, because at the time we didn't have a title for it. And it turns out they were right. It was very cryptic. I don't really see it, even when you're writing over it, but it turned out they were right. Well, now they've put out a new picture. And it's very similar in the sense that it's black and white. It's Joe Russo sitting there in his chair. And yes, I believe that is Joe.
You're right.
And a number of things. And they simply put the caption on it. Where is it? There it is. Look hard. That's their thing. Look hard. So they're asking people, take a look. Now, there are already several major theories flying around. Eric Voss over at the New Rock Stars. Love those guys.
Mm-hmm.
He has a theory.
To talk like this.
He has a theory, yeah. But he's got a theory that he put out there that if you look where the lights are shining, because if you look at this picture, right in the middle there, near the top of the middle, there's a big spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
See it?
Yeah.
And it's shining on one thing on the wall, could mean nothing, but said if you really look at it, there's 3 particular beams, and that is the representation of Wolverine claws. Saying that Wolverine, this picture is an indication that Wolverine's coming back. I don't know that I buy that. I don't see it myself. I even saw them drawing on it, and I still don't see it, but that's okay. That's fine. You know what it is? I feel like it's one of those pictures they had in the 80s where it just looks like a random mess. But if you look at it and let your eye defocus, you see an image pop out. I don't know if that's what's going on here. Now, look, I still, for the record, I do not believe that Hugh Jackman is coming back to play Wolverine again. But even I have to admit, there is evidence mounting that maybe he might be. But I'm still going to stay with I don't think he will be, but it is a possibility. So that's what Eric Voss is saying. But, again, symmetry, lettering, right? All that kind of stuff. There is also a theory going around, if I can find it here. There it is. A, V, X, Avengers versus X-Men. That's one of the other theories going around. Again, let's take a look at the picture as a whole. You know what? I can definitely see the A. I can definitely see the V. I suppose you could pull an X out of there if you angle a little bit. So some people are saying, hey, it's the same thing. It's you got to look at the symmetry for a word in the symmetry. You guys might remember that in the announcement for Phase 3, Captain America Civil War was not called Captain America Civil War. It was called Captain America and the Serpent Society.
Right.
That's what they said was the movie was coming. And then at this big event that I was lucky enough to be at, Kevin Feige came out on stage. Oh, it's like, oh yeah, it's not Serpent Society. It's Captain America Civil War. And everybody lost their minds. Could it be
That once again,
you are taking it out? Yeah, well, yes, I know what a plethora is. Could it be that once again, what if Avengers Doomsday isn't even called Avengers Doomsday? What if, because the movie's still over a year and a half away. What if they pull this thing together? It's like, oh, by the way, yeah, it's not called Avengers Doomsday, even though Doctor Doom is a big part of it. It's Avengers versus X-Men. Now, I don't know that that's what they're doing. Or what if somebody in the live chat is saying Avengers versus X-Men, Doomsday? Maybe. I don't know. Look, I'll be honest with you. I think you can see whatever you want to see. This picture is like looking at clouds and trying to see shapes in the clouds. I think you can see whatever you want to see. But there's some interesting theories going around there. Anyway, Rob, you see this little thing that the Russo brothers put out, and they're saying, look hard. What is Detective Burnett?
Well, I'm going to defer to my esteemed colleague and explain exactly what this picture is saying.
All right.
And Jonathan Boyko mentioned it to me this morning. Jonathan, what do you see in this
you
picture?
have the obvious A for Avengers right here. But if you look over where the spotlight is shining.
Where's the spotlight shining?
On the metal grate.
Shine on those. Okay.
Now, what do those look like?
That first row of like girders are lit the most. They look like 3 A's.
Uh-huh.
Those 3 A's.
Can I stop you right there?
Yes.
They're splitting Doomsday into 2 movies. That's why they dumped the release date for the Marvel movie that was supposed to happen between Secret Wars and Doomsday. And they're splitting Avengers Doomsday into 2 Avengers movies.
So we're going to have 3 Avengers.
3 Avengers movies, and those three A's are telling you that's why that spotlight is shining on the A's.
So you think the 3 A's are Avengers.
That's right. There's going to be 3 Avengers movies. They dropped the date. We talked about it yesterday on this show. They dropped this right here.
Look right where the light's shining. I mean, that's where it's shining.
And by the way, they're not just A's. If you look, you can see on the first A, the farthest one away.
I'll zoom in and move.
Can I give one?
Well, I wasn't going to say
one counterpoint a little bit. Though?
Look, there's even a circular.
It looks like there's 4 A's. Because you look at the far right, there's 4 A's.
Yeah, but that's not illuminated by the spotlight.
It's not as illuminated.
Yeah, it's
but
the spotlight that's shining down. And I don't think because that A doesn't have the the fact that it's not lit. If they wanted to light that would have been. They're just telling you right now 3 Avengers movies.
What if it's saying that the big hero of the film is a guy who comes and tows your car when you have a flat tire?
Could be.
What if that's what the
AAA?
3 A's mean?
I think it's going to be. That's why I think it's no mistake. Look, this is wishful thinking, but I don't think it's any mistake that they dumped the date. Didn't we report on that yesterday?
Yeah. So for those of you who weren't around yesterday, there was a movie date that Marvel had put a flag on for an untitled Marvel film that I believe was June of 2027. That comes in between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Out of nowhere, they dropped that date. They released the date and they put a Simpsons movie part 2 on that date. And we had speculated about, was it going to be a Doctor Strange 3? Was it going to be a Black Panther 3? Was it going to be a Shang-Chi 2? All that kind of stuff. But they pulled it. And now we have no Marvel movies, as of now, officially, no Marvel movies coming out between December of 2026, which is Doomsday, and December of 2027, which is Secret Wars. So right now, there's nothing.
Why build one when you can have 2 at twice the price, as John Hurt said in Contact? I mean, to me, this light is shining directly on those 3 A's.
Yeah.
Directly on those 3 A's. And you look at that.
I didn't see it, but now that's all I can see.
That's all you can see. And now look where he's sitting. If that's Joe Russo.
Yeah.
Now, the angle is probably he's sitting right between, he's right in the middle A.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the way that is, and because, you know what? Like, remember I even mentioned that the third Hobbit movie, the War of the Five Armies, that was not part of the Hobbit. They were going to make 2 Hobbit movies, and as they were making, you cannot.
Well, the Battle of the Five Armies is in the Hobbit,
right? But I mean, it is. But they were only going to make 2 movies, and then they realized they had enough stuff. This Doomsday movie, they probably shot with so many people in it, and as they're going the way it's really iterative. They probably figured out that's what we don't need to make another movie in between. That's why they pulled it. Whatever movie it was, whether it was Wakanda Forever 2 or what Shang-Chi, they're like, no, dude, we've got so much stuff here, and we have enough bridging material that we're going to need. It's going to be announced. And by the way, where was that announcement made for the third Avengers? I mean, that they took the date. Was that Variety?
I think it was Variety.
No one's had any time or to even think about sticking another movie on that date.
Well, I mean, Disney themselves did. They put Simpsons Part 2 on that date.
Well, that's true, but maybe that's something they can always change.
I doubt they will at this point, but I mean, to your point,
I mean, that was just an announcement that the movie's getting made.
No, they announced the release date for it.
No, I know, but I mean, that's 2 years from now. They can
Right.
easily move that somewhere else. You know.
To your point, here's the interesting thing about that. This is the opportunity, and maybe it's a little bit greedy, but remember when we were talking about the upcoming musical biopic, Michael, and we said we believed they were going to split in 2, and they are splitting it in 2. We said this makes perfect sense because you're not spending any more money, but you're going to double your income from it just by splitting it in 2. Because the movie was, from what I heard, was pressing up against 4 hours anyway. So it really needed to be put. If they're looking at, because you know my belief on this, in pre-production, they know exactly how long this is going to be. They know exactly what it's going to be. They know but if they looked at this and said, you know, we could put out a 3.5-hour movie.
Plus, when you get all those actors together, you're telling me they're not riffing and they're not rewriting. I mean, you even go back and how Jeff Bridges talks about making Iron Man 1. They were rewriting things. And Anthony, I'll tell you something else that I saw yesterday. This was something I saw yesterday when I did a YouTube show last night on my own channel, and I saw a clip that I had never seen before of Anthony Mackie talking about the first Avengers movie and how how Robert Downey Jr. was doing a lot of rewriting. Like they were going in there and he was coming up with new scenes and making scenes better. Like every morning they would go in. I don't think I'd ever seen that clip before. And Mackie was talking about how like it was making the movie better and this was par for the course. And that's kind of what we're used to. With all of these actors that they have with Chair Watch and all those, you think that getting those actors together, they're going to stay on page? I'm sure the shot was on page, but you've got a resource like working on these scenes, making these scenes bigger, making them better, you know. And I don't know why I'd never seen that.
I think if they sit down and say, okay, it looks like, because they're now well into the process of making a movie. They've got a
remember they start editing these movies on day 2 of shooting
on dailies. I think by now they have a good sense of what the runtime's going to be. Maybe not down to the exact minute. So they're looking at it and saying, okay, look, and this is probably Kevin Feige going, we could put out a near 3.5-hour movie, or we could put out 2-hour 45-minute movies, which is a perfectly acceptable runtime, and have them released 6 months apart. Listen,
I'll bet you the rough cut of this movie was 6 hours long.
Oh, I don't believe that at all.
100%.
Not a chance. Not a chance. They're not that they would never agree. You know how expensive that would have been.
But that's, I mean,
they're not putting that kind of money into it. There's
no
way.
I understand that, but a rough cut, you know, when you put everything in that you shot, and they probably got all this material.
I agree, but 6 hours. No, I don't believe it would be 6 hours. Maybe 4, but I can't see 6. By the way, I want to throw this in there too, because apparently everybody's really happy with the way it's all coming together.
Yeah.
So Channing
Tatum
just put out a really cool quote. because you guys know Channing Tatum's going to be in the movie, right?
Yeah.
So he was just interviewed, and this comes to us from Coming Soon and Yahoo Entertainment. And Channing Tatum said this, which I thought was really cool. Speaking with Entertainment Tonight at the premiere of Roofman, which, by the way, I'm looking forward to seeing.
Okay, it looks great.
Tatum hyped up Avengers Doomsday and the unpredictable journey that will take Marvel fans on. This is what Channing Tatum said. I don't know how to describe it to you, he said. It's going to make your brains ooze out of your ears, like in the way I knew when Blade walks on screen in Deadpool and Wolverine. People are going to physically lose their actual minds. It's that, but I don't know, maybe times 50. It's going to be one of those things. So Channing Tatum is clearly already loving what he's seeing. And I mean, in theory, again, to your point, if there's a rationale for splitting it, like you don't have to suddenly add more scenes or shoot more stuff. They've been making these movies longer and longer. And if it looks like they're coming in at 3.5 hours or whatever, it's really simple. Just cut it in half and release it twice.
Well, the thing is, the length of a movie like this is extended by dialogue scenes. Because like you said, the action scenes, a lot of the battle stuff, that's fast. What eats up time is people talking to each other. And so if you've got all these actors, like let's say we know the X-Men are in the movie. Well, let's say that they realize that, we haven't established the X-Men enough. You could spend 10 minutes reestablishing the world, Xavier's school. I guess we know where that's. And you could spend 10 minutes getting together with no one's going to care. People are going to love that. Fans are going to be like, oh my God, you established the world. And that could be a scene that could be 10 minutes long. It could be 20 minutes long. But it probably was 10 minutes long because they've been cutting it down. But then they realized, wait a minute, we have all these actors together.
But I'm afraid of that because you cut stuff out for a reason. I hope they don't. If they did this, we don't know that they are. We're saying, but if they did this, what I hope they don't end up doing is let's throw fluff back in that we didn't think was good enough to have in the movie, but now we need to pad it out. I hope that.
I don't think it's fluff. I think it depends on. It's all about pacing. Like you can have a conversation with people and it could be on the page. It could be written as a 3-page scene. But when you see a 3-page scene and it's people talking and you see pause, it's like the scene in Heat at Kate Mandolini's when Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are talking. That's a pretty lengthy scene. Now it's a great scene, but that scene's lengthy. If you have scenes, a lot of scenes like that between characters, they're great scenes, but you want to cut them down because the movie's got 100 characters in it, so you don't want to. But if you have time, if the scenes are great, you just let the dialogue play out. It's not fluff. But with something like this, people will watch. People will watch. If you've got 10 of your favorite superheroes, if you have all the X-Men back, I mean, you could make a scene that lasts longer and people are going to love it. It's still going to feel great.
To me, pace is important. I just hope they don't just make things long because they have time to make it long. You know,
I think the movie would be, when I said how long it was, I think it was because it was so good. So the problem is things are so good, then you have to pare it down. That's when you have to really.
Yeah, that can make it better.
Yeah, but
pace. But okay, so look, so we got two options here,
and we don't even. Dude, my theory could be completely wrong.
Oh, I mean,
but Jonathan made me think about it.
Yeah, but I mean, look, now that you said that, that's all. When I look at that image now, all I can see is the 3 A's. That's all I can see now.
Right.
So maybe it's like what some people are theorizing. It's Avengers versus X-Men. Hey, that's not a far-fetched theory. A lot of people
and we know something similar to that is in the movie.
But you know what, Rob? I do like the investigative detective work there. The idea of the 3 A's paired with the fact that just yesterday they announced they are dropping that Marvel date, and now that we could have 3 Avengers movies in a year, that's pretty compelling.
I mean, and you know what? We keep talking about what could the Marvel Universe, what could the MCU do to exceed? I mean, we're thinking about
really get back its footing. 3 Avengers films in a row.
I mean, yeah. What would be better than we're thinking? Well, it could be it could be Black Panther 3. It could be Shang-Chi 2. It could be. No, we're gonna release 3 Avengers movies. I mean,
all right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think? I mean, all we're doing now is speculating because that's what the Russo brothers have just invited us all to do. Look hard, and maybe we're overlooking, maybe, but what do you think? What do you see in this picture? How do you think they're going to proceed here? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. You know what? Robert Meyer Burnett's going to stick around for this one of it. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank the sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Zapier. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Zapier. You know, one of the biggest game changers of the past year has been AI. But let's be real, just talking about AI doesn't actually make your day any more productive. What does make it more productive is finding tools to put AI to work for you. And that's where Zapier comes in. Zapier is the easiest way to take AI and plug it directly into the apps and processes that you're already using every day. No IT bottlenecks, no complexity, just results. For me, it's been about saving time on repetitive stuff so I can focus on the work that matters and I actually enjoy. And it's not just me. Over 3.4 million companies are already using Zapier to streamline everything from sales and marketing to IT and HR. With their AI orchestration platform, you can connect top AI models like ChatGPT or Claude right into the apps you already use. So whether it's automatically enriching leads, coaching your sales team, or even resolving IT tickets, Zapier makes it simple. Guys, join the 3.4 million companies already automating with Zapier and transform how you work with Zapier and AI. Get started for free by visiting zapier.com/Campea. That's zapier.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Zapier for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with that down, let's get over to your live questions here, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Alex Von Gollum says, hey, crew, writing from my final destination, Fredericton, New Brunswick. Are you familiar with the Irish band The Course? A very talented trio of ladies mixing pop traditional Irish tones. Love them. I think I found them on Spotify once.
I'm thinking of a band called The Course, but I'm thinking like it's 20 years ago. So
I think that is that band.
Okay, maybe that is.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, if I remember it correctly, I used to like them. I didn't know they were still around doing stuff.
You know, Sinners is what made me go down that rabbit hole on Spotify. So then I was just getting all these like modern like versions of folklore Irish songs, and I think they were one of the.
Can I just throw out there again? Man, the soundtrack for Sinners is so good.
So good.
Oh my God. Anyway, okay, what's next?
All right. Seconds from Disaster. I think Rob is right about there being 3 Avengers movies. I think it will be Avengers Doomsday, Battle World, Secret Wars. So after so many rumors about there being a Battle World movie in between.
I don't think there's a Battle World movie in between. I think if you're going to use Battle World, it's incorporated into one of the movies anyway. But I mean, look, what I don't think here is, and we don't know that there's going to be 3 movies, but if there are, I firmly believe that it was never the original plan to have 3.
No.
I think they probably looked at how long this movie was going to be and said, without spending any more money except on marketing, we can just literally chop this in half and make it its own 2 individual movies.
What's interesting though is when you do that, do you have to renegotiate contracts? Because it's a 3rd film.
Yeah,
you know,
probably.
it's really an interesting. I mean, there's other precedents.
So you're right. It will actually cost more money, but not double.
It won't cost because the production's already done.
Yes.
So they'll have more effects, but the thing is that far outweighs. Like if they were to make a new movie, whether it was Shang-Chi or whether it was Wakanda Forever 2 or Black Panther 3, it would cost a lot more.
That's spinning up a whole nother production.
Yeah. And so all they would have to, I don't know if they would have to pay. I don't know how that works. I mean, it would be a really interesting thing to see. But I mean, to fill that gap, what better way that we've already done it?
Because for argument's sake, let's say Robert Downey Jr. signed a deal for argument's sake, let's say $15 million a film. Okay. Just for argument's sake. So that's $30 million he's owed. If Disney wanted, and we're speculating out the ass here, but if they wanted to split the one movie into 2, I don't think they'd have to give Robert Downey Jr. another $15 million. They'd probably just negotiate a fee and say, give me $5 more million bucks and we'll call it a day. Because I don't have to do any more work. I don't have to actually do anything. It'd still cost, but be very cost effective.
It'd be a lot less than having to make a whole new movie from scratch.
All right, what's next?
Jake Calbo, John, if you found a doorway with another universe where your entire family are superheroes, you're a billionaire, and your best friend is the eagle, would you enter the doorway? Would you go to Earth X? The best universe ever.
My mom was still there. I probably would.
Oh,
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
now I'm gonna get sad.
Because, you look, that's one of the things that really is appealing to Chris, besides the hardcore love affair and everything like that. His brother's still there.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was still there. Yeah, I probably would. I mean, you're not saying anything about it being an Earth X.
Right.
that could change things. But yeah, in theory, I'd
I mean,
probably
you
be
didn't
tempted.
make Earth X what it is today.
Yeah, that's true.
It wasn't your
That's
fault.
true. Maybe I could go over there and change things. All right, what's next?
Box Office Nerd says, while Lilo and Stitch won the summer for domestic box office, I found it interesting that the film that actually had the best legs, total domestic gross divided by opening weekend, was Jurassic World, Weapons, F1, How to Train Your Dragon, and Mission Impossible round out the top 5 for legs.
Yeah, but now you're talking in relative numbers, though. But still, the point being that How to Train Your Dragon's performance was great. F1 was such a great, did really good. Jurassic, despite the fact that it was not a good movie, has done very well. I mean, it didn't join the Billy Club or anything, but it did way better than it should have.
Yeah.
I mean, it really has. And it continues. We were just talking the other day about how well it's still done on PVOD, like despite the fact it's been out forever. That is just going to be a franchise that they're going to have to work really hard to ruin it, even though it seems they are working hard to ruin it. But it's done very, very well. So it's, even in the midst, even when box office is down and all that kind of stuff, you still get these big success stories, which is good to see. All right, what's next?
That Kid 22. Hey, John, do you think Mahershala Ali might debut as Blade in Doomsday or Secret Wars? I could see Deadpool joking in the final battle saying, I tried to get Wesley Snipes, but he told me to screw off, so I got the next best thing.
I don't know, Rob. Like, I've kind of lost all hope for it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not telling people, oh, there's no way Mahershala Ali is going to be Blade anymore. I'm not telling people that, but in my heart of hearts, I just don't think I believe it anymore. It's just so many years have passed since then. I don't know how you feeling about it.
I'm with you, dude. I mean, I'm like, look, one of the great things they did was introduce Black Panther in Civil War.
Yeah.
That was a
great move.
tremendous introduction. When T'Chaka was killed, they gave him great pathos. And I can see them wanting to introduce Blade in a movie because he's a big character. But on the other hand, you've got Mahershala Ali, a 2-time Academy Award winner. When you have that, you give him a movie, and I think that I feel that it's further and further away from becoming a reality.
All right. What's next?
Be Cool Yolanda says, hey, John, I'm pretty excited that we're getting a new villain that has been on the big screen.
Not been on the
screen for Batman Part 2. However, I'm really curious about Barry Keoghan's Joker. That deleted scene from the Batman showed that he and Batman have a Clarice Starling and Hannibal Lecter dynamic. Do you think there's room to explore this in the Batman Part 2? Will Joker and Riddler team up in the long-rumored Arkham Asylum miniseries? Thanks, Bring On.
I think they officially said that Arkham Asylum series is dead. I thought I remember they're saying that, so probably not. I don't expect that it's definitely not going to be Joker. Because, I mean, that's Matt Reeves has said, like you alluded to, that the villain they're going to use for the Batman Part 2 is going to be the one that hasn't really been used on screen before. And we went in depth about all the different characters that could then mean. So it's clearly not going to be Barry Keoghan's Joker. That doesn't mean they can't go back and revisit Barry Keoghan's Joker at some point somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's been pretty clear that it's not going to be Riddler and it ain't going to be Joker because they've been used exhaustively. Do you got a front runner right now? You think that
I don't know. I really don't know who I don't.
I still like Deathstroke.
Dude,
I know he's primarily a Teen Titans kind of villain, but he's also very associated with Batman. I could totally see it.
That's the one script, I'm pretty good about sussing out scripts or getting scripts. I want to read that Ben Affleck
so bad
Batman
so
Deathstroke. Of all the scripts that are floating out there, that's the one I want to read the most.
Look, I never do this, but it's crazy who watches this show sometimes.
Yeah.
So let me put this out there in the universe, and I never do this. If anybody out there has that Ben Affleck Batman script, because I know a lot of people in the industry watch this show sometimes, please send it to me.
The problem,
I would love to read. I never do this. I never ask for that. But If you're somebody in the inside and you've got that script, please send it to me. I'd love to read it.
I think the reason is a lot of time when they send scripts like that out, they have the people's names right on every single page that got them. The reason that script is not got out is because nobody who ever had it, there's someone's name on it.
I also guarantee nobody who ever had it got to keep it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Sam M. Hi, regarding the Kratos casting, I think there is one name being slept on, which is Lee Pace. Just watched season 3 of Foundation, and man, his beard look is great. He has a look, stature, and voice to play Kratos. What do you think?
He's a remarkable actor. He's so good. I mean, I've liked him in everything I've ever seen him in.
In Foundation season 3, he's just killing it.
I still haven't started watching season 3 yet. Still haven't started watching season 3.
It's exponentially better.
Really?
It's so good.
Because I really like season 2.
You're gonna love season 3.
I can't wait. I think Ann and I will probably watch a bunch of it in the van on the way to and back from Canada. All right, what's next?
SB, the real soup suggested that GI Robot is going to come kill some Nazis. I don't know if that's the big cameo, but I'm really excited for that to happen. I think it's a
absolutely not the big cameo because nobody even knows who GI Robot is. So you can't call it. But GI Robot could show up and he could still be a cameo. Absolutely. James Gunn has even said before, he's implied that we're going to see GI Robot in live action. Are you a dirty Nazi? And in Earth X, I would be a great fit, but he's definitely not the big cameo. All right, what's next?
Yeah, because I think what's his name's character is going to cross over to that universe as well.
You got to be more specific than what's his name.
Yeah, I am, but I can't remember his name, so never mind. 3 Avengers movies, guys. Swole Day Walker says, "What's up, guys? Watch the latest episode of Peacemaker, and it's awesome. I usually don't watch the quick video after the credits, although it's sometimes good." Showing glimpses of the next episode, but since the finale is near, I was intrigued about this one. Do you know if you saw it? Or don't know if you saw it, but they showed a muscular dude from the neck down without showing his face. So it got me thinking, I have zero reason to believe this, but my wild theory is that the dude's face they didn't show is Alan Ritchson as Slade Wilson, a.k.a. Deathstroke.
That's a pretty big leap.
Goes on to say, that would be a crazy reveal. And season finale, you would be expanding the world even more and building more anticipation for the new Batman. It would, well, that's assuming that Deathstroke is that's just basing on theory.
This is a situation where you're building an assumption on top of another assumption on top of another assumption.
Yeah. Right.
So you gotta be
careful.
A
lot has to fall into line. But just follows up. It would be such a cool turn to have Ritchson go from rumors of possibly being Batman to the enemy of Batman. Well, yeah, okay.
Look, the one thing that's going for your theory is the fact that Alan Ritchson, who of course plays Reacher, and is a lot of people's picks to play the new Batman, but it sounds like he's not going to be. But Alan Reacher has recently pretty much said he's going to be in the new DCU. Right?
He said Alan Reacher.
Did I say Alan Reacher? Alan Ritchson. Alan Reacher, same diff. That he's kind of implied that he is going to be in the DCU, but it's not going to be Batman. So you have that going for it. I normally do watch the after episode things, and I don't remember seeing that one. So I can't say for certain, but I don't know. We'll have to wait. Did you see this little clip that you're talking about?
I didn't.
Okay, so, but I mean, who knows? Never know. Possibilities abound.
I keep thinking about my theory, John. Kill Bill was shot as one movie.
Yes, it was.
And they broke it into 2.
Because it was too long.
Rick Flag.
And I'm thinking...
That's what they're doing with Michael.
Volume 1 and Volume 2 harks back to comic book origins. I don't think they're going to use the title Battle World. I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Rick Flag Sr. is who was thinking of crossing over to...
Oh, yeah, he's already done it. Yeah.
I think it's HW, yeah. Look out, my Red Legs going up against your Dodgers. Well, my Dodgers, not John's, but...
they lost game 1 so far.
Even with a crap bullpen, 3 pitchers in 1 inning, I'm gonna have cold sweats thinking about that 8th inning.
Now, what's first round? Is that best out of 5?
3. So they've got to win 1 more.
So first round is best out of 5.
Yeah, the wild card is best of 3.
Best of 3. Okay.
Then the DS will be best of 5.
They just got to win 1 more. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Well, if Shohei can keep hitting 2 home runs a game, then They should be all right.
Tell me about it.
All right, what's next?
Salty Dog. Hey guys, what would you say is the biggest factor when launching lesser known comic book characters? How can some Guardians of the Galaxy and the first Suicide Squad be very successful, but others like Blue Beetle, Shazam fail? Different environments to compare that to.
Yeah, it's all about context. You got to remember let's go back with Guardians of the Galaxy. They didn't put the Guardians of the Galaxy out in phase 1. They had a fully established, fully successful, fully entrenched, and fully operational battle station called the MCU.
Right.
That was operating at peak performance when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. And you'll notice that Guardians of the Galaxy was not one of the many billion-dollar films. But in that environment, with a ridiculously popular cast,
Right.
and they made a great movie, and the marketing looked phenomenal.
Yep.
The marketing all looked phenomenal. DC was never in that position. The DCEU was never got to that place. And so when something like Shazam, by the way, Shazam was awesome. I love that first Shazam movie. I think it makes my heart smile, man. I think it's great. But it never had that same backing of a fully realized, fully functional, fully peak operating cinematic successful universe like Marvel did when Guardians came out. So that certainly helps. That helps a lot. Rob, do you got anything you want to add to that?
Well, I also think too, it's kind of the kind of movie that it is. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was, because no one knew, the tone of it, the offbeat tone, it could be hipper, snarkier, it could play into the zeitgeist of our culture more. Whereas movies like Shazam, by definition, have to be more traditional.
Right.
And like Black Adam is locked into being Black Adam, and Black Adam's origins are such that it's locked into the magicalness of it all. And whereas the Guardians of the Galaxy, I hate to say it, but the Guardians of the Galaxy was cool for us, for the movie going audience. It turned out to be a cool film, whereas Shazam's not as cool. I mean, in terms of wanting to go see it, cool in the audience. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, we knew. Okay, we were already locked in because of Thanos at the end of Avengers, so we knew it was heading towards that. We kind of had the idea they were going after an Infinity Stone. It was going to be space-faring adventure. I mean, he brings up Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle was at the tail end of a dying franchise. You can't compare the two.
No.
So, we got Anonymous that says, "Oh yeah, that man's playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did."
That's such a great moment.
How does Fury see these? He turns. It sounds exhausting. Man, the old MCU was golden. Well, that's just dialogue, and you still get great dialogue.
Yeah.
But...
Oh yeah, there's still great dialogue, but that is like,
yeah,
man, when they were making those, like, I'm just telling you again, I say it all the time, but it's true. That was the era when every new Marvel film coming out, we expected it to be great, and it always delivered. Always delivered. Now it's hit and miss at best, and let's see if they can get their footing back again. All right, what's next?
Oh, we kind of already answered this yesterday, but Eho Person says, hey, John, would you consider doing an LA area movie meetup? If so, I suggest looking at nonprofit theaters like Vidiots.
No, it would have to be, for me to do a meetup, it needs to be a certain size of a place and all that kind of stuff. But yes, I am absolutely going to be doing movie meetups. I'm going to do one at the AMC Burbank 16, and I'm going to do one at my home theater here, which is the AMC Riverside Tyler Galleria. But those will have to, I'm going to schedule those for after I get back from the Kansas, Chicago, Indiana trip. So probably early November, we're going to do one at the AMC Burbank 16 and one at the AMC Tyler Galleria. Just keep your eyes open for when we announce those dates. All right, what's next?
Highway on Rampia says, U.S. certain 100% tariffs on foreign films again this morning. Well, this was 4 days ago, but stealing box office like candy from a baby. Do you think Trump might not be a Demon Slayer fan? I just don't think it's going to happen. And
I really don't want to talk anything about that fucking moron.
Well, I would say just from the business perspective, our exports, film is one of our exports that's the most profitable. We don't have there's no gap. We're not losing manufacturing around the world. We are making money from exporting movies. So the idea that we would put tariffs on films that are shot like around the world is silly. It doesn't make any sense because the product that we're selling is being owned and sold by American film companies. So it's a weird idea.
Yeah, I'm just going to avoid commenting on it for now. All right, what's next? Just
you wait. Henry Higgins. Fanimator. Hey, John, where and when are you coming to Chicago? Oh, we put that up today.
Yeah, we announced that today, so I'll bring it back up here again. So in Chicago, Wednesday, October the 15th, we're going to be in South Barrington. That's where everybody told me. I asked, what theater in the Chicago area should we do? Everybody said South Barrington, so we're going to be at the AMC South Barrington, Wednesday, October 15th, for the 6:30 p.m. screening of Tron Ares. All right, what's next?
There you go. Anonymous says, none of Paul Thomas Anderson's last 4 movies have turned a profit. The Master, Inherent Vice, Phantom Thread, and Licorice Pizza. He keeps getting higher budgets every time. Box office might matter to the studio, but not the writer or director. I can't imagine Licorice Pizza was that big of a budget.
I honestly didn't even like Licorice Pizza that much.
It was okay. I didn't like the characters.
It was not one of my favorite films of his. Well, first of all, budget should never really matter to the writer and director, right? That's not their thing to worry about. You worry about making the best film possible. The studio's job is to worry about how much goes into it and gets paid, and how much gets paid up front to make those movies. Yeah, I mean, look, part of the reality is we talked about this, about the lukewarm opening that One Battle After Another had, which is the reality is none of his movies make a lot of money. They don't. He does not make, and that's fine. We need artists like him, but we need artists like James Gunn, and we need artists like Paul Thomas Anderson. We need lots of different types of artists. He does not make movies for the masses. He doesn't make movies that have broad appeal. He makes very artistic films that have a very, specific way of looking at the world and of giving his messages and stuff like that. And they're never going to be huge. I mean, could you ever see Paul Thomas Anderson making one that's like, that is able to kind of do both, is able to be like a really artistic, finely tuned film and yet also have big market appeal? It's hard to see.
I think it's possible, but I think that he doesn't make big populist entertainments. He makes movies. He's a filmmaker out of time. He belongs more into the 70s school of filmmaking, like the Hal Ashbys of the world and things like that. And I'm just happy he's still making movies, because some of his movies I absolutely adore, like Boogie Nights. I love Phantom Thread. There Will Be Blood, Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
I mean, these are films that I'm really happy exist, because they're some of the best movies that have been made in the last 35 years.
All right, what's next?
Aaron says there is an Augie line in Peacemaker episode 7 where he asks Chris, why did you come back here? I'm wondering if maybe he means back to the universe. And Chris was actually originally from Earth X and got switched, and we never knew. Just a theory. Love the show. Where he asked, but who's he? Why did you come back here? Augie says that.
I don't think that's I don't think that's at all related to him having originally been. This was his first time crossing over, I believe. So yeah, I don't think that's what they're implying.
Because the way he performed that, he wasn't performing that when he first crossed over in the know that the audience didn't know, and he was hiding that from the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
The character didn't know.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Business Boy. Peacemaker episode 6 spoilers. It's probably we've got enough days,
we're
right?
days removed, yeah.
Gunn said Peacemaker leads right to the next super movie. What are the chances that Earth X becomes the first big bad of the DCU? Luthor could see a Nazi Superman as a threat. He'll be willing to team up with Superman to fight. I see. Not teaming up with that one, but
no. Remember, James Gunn also said, keep this in context. James Gunn said Peacemaker picks right up from Superman, right? But if you're watching Peacemaker, you realize you don't need to be watching Peacemaker. Right? Like, in the sense of, if I'm going to follow the DCU, I got to watch Peacemaker. You really don't. And while I absolutely believe Peacemaker is going to set some stuff up that's going to be very relevant in the next cinematic universe movie, I don't think it's going to be necessary viewing. So I don't think if you're skipping the TV shows and just watch the movies, I don't think they're going to go all of a sudden, Earth X is here, and people going, what? I don't think that.
Even that Lex Luthor conversation can be solved with a quick dialogue beat in the next Superman
100%.
movie.
And I think, Rob, you were kind of alluding to, and I think you're right, that they're going to end Earth X in the next couple of episodes, I think. Does that
I think so, because look, the whole multiverse, leaving it open, you get trapped because there could be other multiverses. You don't want to deal with that. I think they're going to definitively end the Earth X universe.
Yeah, I agree.
Or at least cut it off from our universe forever.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Mr. Snivy, has there been a time you confused two actors as the same?
With two of them in particular. I'll get to that in a second. Go ahead and finish it off.
When I was younger, I used to confuse Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson, Steve Carell and Jim Carrey, interesting, and as well as Hugh Grant and Hugh Laurie. Well, I get the Hugh, but they don't look alike.
I've never confused those two, or any of those. The one to this day, every once in a while, I still get mixed up, and I don't know why. It's Kurt Russell and
Patrick Swayze. No,
no.
They both have mullets.
God, now I'm freezing on his name.
There's gonna be 3 Avengers movies, guys.
It's the guy who was married to...
Sam Shepard.
Nope. No. He just played Reagan.
Dennis Quaid.
I
can see that.
I forever, always, going back to when I was a teenager, I confuse Dennis Quaid.
Who's the best pilot you ever saw?
And Kurt Russell. I don't know why. It is still to this day that I do that. Do you have any that you do that for?
Not really. I'd have to think about that.
I do. I don't know why I do this, but Ed Harris and William Hurt. I don't know why.
No, that makes I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that one.
That.
Yep, that's a good one too. All right, what's next?
W. Penny. Hi, John. Massive fan of One Battle After Another. Going back to see it a second time in 70mm IMAX. Keen to hear your thoughts on it. Do you think it could sweep the Oscars? If so, what categories? I know it's early to say, but An Aura was released this time last year.
That doesn't matter what time it's released. I doubt it sweeps. I haven't seen it yet still.
I haven't either.
And I had our tickets to go see it yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
And we had our 2:00 tickets. And then in between when the show ended and when we were supposed to go to see the movie, something came up. And everything's fine. But something came up.
That's what happened to me.
And we couldn't go. And we can't go see it tonight because we have long-standing dinner plans with some friends of ours we haven't seen in forever. I can't see it tomorrow night because I'm going to a screening of the John Candy documentary.
Oh, nice.
Tomorrow night. So the earliest I'm going to be able to see it is Saturday. So
wow.
I still haven't seen it, so I don't know. But you haven't had a chance either.
No. And I had tickets to go see it at the Irvine Spectrum.
It's like one of those rare
1570.
cases.
That's a good place to see it too.
I know. I went in their IMAX theater.
All right.
I am very excited about, by the way, the screening I'm going to. It's a Ryan Reynolds and Friends screening where he's going to have like almost everybody from the movie that's in the documentary is going to be there.
Oh, the John Candy screening.
The John Candy documentary. So
when is that?
That's tomorrow night.
Oh,
in
how
LA.
fun. How fun.
Can't remember the name of the theater that it's at, but I'm very, very excited about this John Candy documentary. All right, what's next?
Lazarus, after the first 10 minutes of One Battle After Another, I knew it was something special. Why didn't the marketing team highlight the immigration aspect? Was it to attract audience who might have skipped it otherwise? That was the least of it.
I can't give an answer because I haven't seen it, but Jonathan, you have.
That honestly, that was kind of the least of the problems with it. They tried to just kind of make it like this weird, quirky Wes Anderson feeling movie when it wasn't that at all. And they didn't really develop any of the characters, like their true personality. Like it showed Sean Penn, who looks just dry as a 3-day-old toast, and he has so much personality and character in this movie. It just things like that. Like they just kind of missed the mark.
All right, what's next?
One and only Tony heard about the terrible news of Nicole Kidman's breakup. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, I heard about that. That's right.
AMC theaters should fly their flags at half-mast. Jokes aside, I watched Palm Springs, and I'm surprised no one has thought about casting my GOAT, Andy Samberg, to play the DCU's Plastic Man.
Oh, I like that idea.
He was really good in that movie. Man.
He was in The Roses, too.
Yes, he was. And he was very funny in The Roses. He's always good whenever he pops up. I still love him from I Love You, Man.
Oh, man.
He was
so
as
good.
the brother in I Love
So
You, Man.
good.
He was so good. My best friend's my dad.
What was this?
Wouldn't be my first pick, but I could see that. Him as Flash Man, I could see it. What were you going to say, Rob?
The J.K. Simmons, his best friend, the best friend, J.K. Simmons' friend from work.
Like he says,
what was the guy's name?
I can't remember.
It's driving me crazy.
And then Robbie.
Yeah.
And Robbie's my best friend. All right, what's next?
Lee Crow, yo, crew, message for all the fans. Campea practices what he preaches. If you join, you get an ad-free version, and he hasn't raised his prices since I joined a few years ago. It's very true.
Yeah, that's true. So for our channel member, look, so part of my big thing about the ads before commercials is this. I don't mind seeing ads and watching commercials when I'm getting something for free. I don't mind that. But if I pay for something, you shouldn't be showing me a half hour of ads. And I say, like, for our YouTube show, right? Our show is free. And so to support the show, we put on ads. That's how we make our money. But we do have a thing where our channel members, and we never promote this, we really should, but our channel members who support us every month by paying a monthly contribution, we put up a version of our show that is completely ad free.
How do you do that?
I do that.
Yeah, Jonathan does it. So what we do is we take a version of the show and we turn off YouTube ads.
Yeah, the monetization.
And we edit out
I cut out
our
the ads we
sponsor
run.
spots.
Wow, do you do that every day?
Yep.
Yeah.
And we upload that as a totally separate video.
I didn't know that.
So you have to wait a little while to get it,
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
an hour or so. But so we put up for people who contribute and support our show financially, no ads for you. So we put up a fully ad-free version of the
Do
show.
you upload that to the community tab? Like where?
No,
it just goes up
only
on-
for our channel members.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
it goes up
we
in
just
alerts
upload
tab.
it and we make it exclusive that you have to be a channel
right,
member for
right.
YouTube to even show it to
What
you.
a great idea! I
a bit of
don't
a
do
jump.
that for. I need to do that for my members on my channel.
Yeah, there's a bit of a jump cut there, like from when we ended
Sure.
before.
Yeah,
but yeah.
but we, again, it's like, hey, if you guys financially support our show every month, no ads for you.
What a great idea!
So we should advertise that more. We never do. We never. So who wrote that in?
Yeah, who are you? Lee Crow.
Lee Crow. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to mention that. But yes, that's what we do.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Eddie Burton. I'm stoked to see Daniel Day-Lewis back making films again. Got my ticket opening night for Anemone. But now that we know Anemone is not just a one-off, any wish list projects you'd love to see him a part of? For me, it's always going to be Magneto in the MCU. But I don't think...
Okay. Okay. If they ever announced the GOAT, the greatest actor of all time.
Danny D.
DDL, man.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis was coming to play Magneto. That's just stop Hollywood after that. It doesn't get any better. That's it. Just cancel
DD
movies.
Louie.
Movies are canceled from now on because there's never going to be anything better. Hell, I would take Daniel Day-Lewis, the greatest actor of all time, in anything in the DC universe, Marvel universe, Star Wars universe. I would make him the new Voldemort. I don't care. Like, put him in something that's really genre heavy. I would, because again, he's the greatest actor of all time. Put him in something genre heavy. I would lose my mind, man. I would absolutely lose my mind. You got something you'd love to see him come back in?
Well, we're going to see him this weekend in Anemone. It opens.
Yep.
His son's movie
Yep.
opens, which I'm going to go see. I shave his head making Professor X. I would
be down for that.
I know, wouldn't you? That would be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he'd do a comic book
That's
movie.
the thing,
I don't know if he would.
He said a wish, though. So,
Okay.
like, if you're
Yeah.
wishing
But
it
you
in-
know what? Here's why. Here, I will tell you right now why it is possible that someday we would see Daniel Day-Lewis in a comic book movie. It's the same reason why we saw another one of the great actors ever, Sir Anthony Hopkins, in the MCU. And I remember speaking to him and it was like, blah, blah, blah. And he said, my grandkids.
Right.
My grandkids think I'm cool
Right. Yeah.
because I'm in the MCU. Daniel Day-Lewis is now at that age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not about him or his artistic career. It's about My grandkids think it's the coolest thing. in
Yeah,
the world.
I mean, yeah.
That is one thing that would get a guy like Daniel Day-Lewis in there. Totally believe it.
Totally.
All right. Anyway, what's next?
Disney gifts by Bryce. Salutations, good sirs. What a week I had last week. In honor of the trailer, I got my wife to watch the original Anaconda.
Wow.
She thought it was hilarious, although that one wasn't meant to be hilarious, but yeah. And then on Thursday, I checked off a lifelong dream to see Weird Al. What a tremendous show he put on.
People laugh and think I'm being facetious. I've seen Weird Al 5 times. When I say he honestly puts on one of the greatest shows you can see. He is a amazing performer. And here's the thing, and I don't mean to be insulting, but his band are all ugly as sin. I mean, like when his band comes out on stage, I remember the first time I saw him live and his band came out on stage. And it's all these overweight, past middle-aged, balding guys and whatever. Like not the guys you usually see come out to be rock stars. And I remember before they even started playing, all Weird Al cared about was getting the best musicians in the world. And sure enough, when you watch a Weird Al show, the musicianship in his shows rival that of the Dave Matthews Band. Like it's the pure musicianship of it is always rock tight, man. It's always amazing. He puts on a great show. I'm glad you had a chance to see him. All right, what's next?
The Joe D says in a 2-parter, hey, John, wanted to let you know I got tickets this weekend to the Marvel Infinity Saga concert at Carnegie Hall.
Nice.
You know how they got to Carnegie Hall? Before the show, we planned to hit up the Carnegie Deli.
Nice.
Just like Bowser from Shauna.
Sha-na-na.
Wow. Okay, first off, it just jumped on me. But secondly, I have not heard that word, that name I'm like Obi-Wan. Sha-na-na.
Sweetheart. Well,
Arthur
Fonzarelli.
Boom, boom, boom,
Hey.
boom.
Sha-na-na.
First of all, Ann and I got to be at the very first Marvel Infinity Saga concert that they did at the Hollywood Bowl in That's when Michael Giacchino came out and did the first public performance of the Fantastic Four theme. It was an amazing experience, so wonderful and fantastic. And I remember them saying, now we're not doing the next one of these like Infinity Saga concerts till next year. We're going to start touring it around the world. I'm so glad they are now. I'm so glad you had a chance to watch it and savor that, man. But listen, with that down, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up. I know there are still some questions to go, but don't worry, guys. We've got them all. We'll address the ones we dig into round 2 on tomorrow's show. But for now, we got to wrap it up. So that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show a part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Big thanks to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always.
3, remember.
3
You heard it here first.
But again, there was a 4th A. Also, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.